Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first CIO Check-in. This is a series that we plan on doing through TechCA, where we will check in with local IT leaders in California and just get updates on what they have going on. If you're new to TechCA, we launched in 2019. We're California's first statewide nonprofit association for the technology industry that's specifically focused on government. We have a pretty simple mission. We just want to help the industry be a better partner with government. We want to be able to better serve government and the people of California in today's modern digital age. I spent much of my career working in government, and I believe that good partnerships start with transparency. So today's event is supported by the nonprofit dues from our member companies at TechCA. Our lineup today, I'm super excited about it, is the team from Fiscal, the financial information system for California. It's our statewide accounting, budget, cash management, and procurement IT system. After the presentation, we'll take some questions from the audience, so be thinking of your questions now, and we'll use the chat function at the bottom of your screen to ask our questions. So to get started, I'd like to introduce the head of the IT division. He's been with Fiscal for more than 5 years, and he's spent a career in both the public and the private sectors working in high-profile projects. He brought his executive team with him today to give the tech industry some insights into all of the latest initiatives for this major effort that spans across state government. He's the Deputy Director and the Chief Information Officer. Please welcome Subbarao Mupparaju. Hi, Subbarao.
Hi, Jennifer. Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining us. Why don't you kick us off and introduce us to your team?
Sure. All right, everyone. As Jennifer mentioned, I have been in IT for a long time, for about 28 years. I have done various kinds of projects, worked in various industries, various types of systems, but I have only been speaking to my monitor for the last 7 months. I'm usually good at speaking to people, but this one is a little odd. We will try to make it as interesting for you as possible. To introduce myself one more time, I'm Subbarao Mupparaju, Chief Information Officer at Fiscal. I have a few slides, but before I start sharing those slides, let me introduce my team. As I said, to make this session interesting and exciting for you, I brought my A+ team, although they only give me A-. I'll start with Kanuri Murty, who is my Chief over Infrastructure and Platform Services, aka Chief Technology Officer. Adi Lingam, she is the Chief of our Business Application Services, aka Chief Applications Officer. And Gerard Laygui is our Chief Information Security Officer. So they are here. I'm going to go through a few slides, and at the end of the slides, we will answer any questions that you may have as a panel. So give me just a second to share my slides. All right, let's get going. Jennifer already mentioned what Financial Information System for California is. We are one of the new departments in the state. We are also called Department of Fiscal Financial Information System for California. And our primary purpose is to support the fiscal system. As most of you know and heard, this is a massive undertaking to provide a statewide accounting, budgeting, cash management, and procurement system for 152 state departments at this time. We support 15,000 users, and our primary mission is to make their experience as best as possible in using the system. And this system is key for providing all the states' financial information in one central repository and help users and departments improve accuracy, make their financial decisions in a timely manner, and increase financial transparency by providing state expenses data to general public and so on. So IT department within fiscal, our primary mission is to support the fiscal system as well as provide all the back office services for all of our staff that actually support the fiscal system and provide customer service. We look at fiscal system as a set of functions. I should actually call this a system of systems. We have several core functions, the primary functions being, again, budget, accounting, cash management, and procurement, and several supporting services to end users, customer service management, whereby users can contact our customer service center through tickets, charts, so on and so forth. We provide analytics. We have multiple business intelligence solutions available for users. We provide identity self-service solution whereby users can request access to the system, and we provide that access based on the roles and based on what they are allowed to see and use in the system. We also provide education to end users through Fiscal Learning Center. We provide key operational insights dashboards for stakeholders in the departments. We also provide a platform where departments can store their legacy data as they retire their old systems. So it's a bunch of services. And all this is enabled by a set of core technical services. Our infrastructure is relatively modern. We look at Fiscal's core technical services as a set of infrastructure services. These are built on engineered systems for high performance databases, hyper-converged infrastructure where several of our application servers run. We leverage cloud, both commercial cloud and cloud services provided by CDT's OTech, as well as on-premises private cloud appliances. So that's why I say we have a hybrid cloud environment. We have high performance, scalable infrastructure built on all these things. And we have a set of platforms. We designed these platforms to be multi-tenant capable platforms. We used various mature reference architectures in building these platforms. They go from web application servers to multi-tenant databases to enterprise application integration, service-oriented application integration, data integration, and we do have business intelligence platforms, open data platforms, and legacy data repositories. And on top of these platforms, we have a set of application services. Our accounting, procurement, and cash management functions are built on Oracle PeopleSoft. Our budget functions are built on Oracle Hyperion. We also have project cost budgets functionality using Oracle Prime Cloud Service. We do have governance, risk, and compliance. And the platforms that we have enable us to build future applications relatively easily. As most of you know, if someone wants to undertake building an IT system, they have to look at various things. They have to look at infrastructure, they have to look at databases, they have to look at application servers, integration hubs, they have to look at analytics, security, identity and access management systems, development, configuration management. A number of things go into building an IT system, and all these are platforms or support tools that support building your business applications or running your business applications. Fiscal already has all of them. So this is my marketing. This is a little bit of my marketing. If someone wants to build a function that we don't have today within Fiscal, and if it requires a new software or a new module, such as Oracle Real Estate module or, sorry. A brand new module such as PeopleSoft Real Estate module or a brand new application that we don't have today, we are in a position to easily add that software as a modular component on top of our infrastructure services and platform services. So essentially, our vision is that in future, if any state entity wants to build something related to financials, we would like to have an opportunity to work with them so we can efficiently and economically build those applications or those services on top of the applications that we already have. Next, I know this is, as Jennifer was saying, we partner with several vendors. We consider our vendors as our key business partners. We try to communicate transparently what we are doing and take offline meetings with vendors to discuss some of the solutions that will contribute, that will help us provide better services to our users. That's everybody else in the state. We, as an executive team, listed out a few priorities for Department of Fiscal. There are 4 priorities, all designed to provide top-notch customer service. Automation and innovation, system and process improvements. This is really the fiscal system, improving the system to make it better for the users and improving the processes, internal processes, such as our software development lifecycle processes, to efficiently and economically deliver new system functions or enhancements. And transparency and analytics. Our financial users are data savvy users. They like to look at their numbers almost every day, twice or thrice. And analytics are a top priority for us. And Fiscal started several years ago. We started building this system in 2012. We went live with all the state departments in 2018. Although we have been operating statewide for more than 2 years now, our users are still learning new things with the fiscal system. It's very complex, it's massive, and education is a priority for us to help our users understand the system and help them enable use the system better, as well as our internal staff for them to be able to provide top-notch customer service. Education is a priority for us, both for internal users and external users. In these 4 strategic priority areas, IT has so many initiatives. I have more than 17 initiatives. I'm not going to talk through all of them today. So we picked up a few key initiatives in each of these areas to talk to you about what are we doing, what we have done recently, and where are we going with each of these areas. So let me start with automation and innovation. Nowadays, if you talk to anyone about innovation, you hear things like cloud. Well, still, people talk about cloud and AI, artificial intelligence, and robotic process automation. So I took those 3 areas to talk to you about where we are with our cloud services and our cloud-first policy, where we are with our artificial intelligence solutions and robotic process automation solutions. And system and process improvements. This is an area that takes quite a bit of our effort, quite a bit of our bandwidth. Performance and capacity management is a priority for us. As I said, Fiscal is a large system that handles 20 plus terabytes of data, supports 15,000 plus users. So we want these users to have good experience. So we want the users to have the system available for them when they want to work, and several people work after hours on weekends. So we want to make sure they have good experience. System responds well, system is available. So performance and capacity management is a top priority internally for us. And of course, we need to keep our technologies up to date, patch, mitigate vulnerabilities, stay on current supported versions of technologies, and continue to optimize the system. If we see an inefficient business process through the system, we enhance to make it more efficient for the users. If we see a particular component of the system that is not performing as well as it should, we catch and we try to optimize that. So that takes substantial effort. And cybersecurity, of course, is a top priority for us, especially because we are a financial system and we are a system that is supporting every other state department. And transparency and analytics, we are working on advanced analytics. We have significant presence in analytics. We are continuing to work on improving this area. On education, we do have learning management systems available to users. We are upgrading these systems. I'll talk to you in a little bit of detail about each of these initiatives. And next slide, cloud services at Fiscal. This is a busy slide. We have a lot of cloud services in use today. Our primary systems, PeopleSoft and Hyperion systems, are still on premises. Someday in future, we have the goal of having zero on-premises IT. We want to move to cloud. We know that that is not going to happen overnight. It is a journey. We embraced the cloud about 5 years ago with the cloud first policy within the department. And today we have 23 cloud services. Some of these services are common. Most people use them. Things like DocuSign for electronic signatures, Zoom and WebEx and Teams for conferencing that we have, and of course Microsoft Office 365, including our SharePoint and email. So these are common services that you see pretty much everywhere. We do have analytics built on Microsoft Power BI and Azure Synapse Analytics, or Azure Data Warehouse as it was known before. We have implemented a customer relationship management using Dynamics 365 from Microsoft Cloud. We recently moved our website over to Microsoft Azure. We built our statewide vendor portal. It's caluprocure.ca.gov. Within Cal Cloud infrastructure, we are in the process of moving it over to a different cloud. So we have a managed software. And we built a couple of solutions using cloud solutions from a company called OpenGov, our transparency website. You can go to open.fiscal.ca.gov. That is our transparency website, which runs on OpenGov's transparency software. We also have our legacy data repository, which is built on open source CCAN software. It runs in AWS Cloud. Our business transaction monitoring is done through App Dynamics, which is also a cloud service. Our customer service management is ServiceNow based. We are one of the first government customers for ServiceNow in California. Our customer contact center, recently we deployed Amazon Connect for our end users so they can still reach our staff and have live discussions to get timely support, although all of our staff are really working from home. And we have built a mini data center in AWS. We are using it for burst capacity to put non-production environments in AWS. We have chatbots built on IBM Watson, natural language processing technologies. Our SDLC tools are IBM Rational tools. They are in IBM Cloud. We are in the process of deploying a modern learning management system using Cornerstone On Demand. We do have several other solutions. For security, we do have CrowdStrike, Proofpoint, and AT&T Cybersecurity, and Splunk, all running in cloud. So I think I can safely say we are one of the few departments that have embraced cloud services early, and we continue to use cloud first strategy when we need to deliver a new service or a new capability for our end users. And we have more coming. We are looking into automating accounts payable business process. When I look at the fiscal system, the top transaction is entering vouchers into the fiscal system. It takes a lot of data entry. So we are looking to see if we can use optical character recognition technologies combined with artificial intelligence and machine learning to automatically process invoices from the vendors and enter those as vouchers within the PeopleSoft system. We are also looking at enabling a third disaster recovery site in a cloud, in one of the commercial clouds. We do have our disaster recovery running from OTEC's Vacaville data center today, but we do want to extend it. You probably heard recently with the fires, there were a couple of days where Kanuri and I were on our toes because fires were so close to that Vacaville data center. So we started this initiative to build a third recovery site somewhere else. And on-demand environments with so much work going on at any given point of time in Fiscal, people keep asking, hey, I need a new development environment. I need a new test environment. I need to work on GASB accounting rules, or I need to work on updated bank reconciliation functions. So we have a lot of demand for these environments, way beyond what I have seen in my past engagements. So we are looking at using cloud. Uh, as I said, we have a mini data center in AWS, but we are looking to improve our automation so we can automatically stand up an environment quickly, and not only stand it up, but manage it through patching and upgrades without too much of human involvement in doing that. We are looking for a data cloud for enabling secure data sharing. We're also looking at identity cloud. We do have on-premises identity and access management solution. It is pretty sophisticated. It is a multi-tenant platform. It works like a charm, but we are looking at identity cloud also to expand our single sign-on solutions to our cloud solutions, on-premises solutions, and pretty much everything that we are doing. And advanced cybersecurity analytics. Well, security, there is no period to security. We have to continue to work on improving our security. You hear in the news about ransomware attacks and all these things. So we are continuing to improve our security. We are continuing to look into threat analysis, real-time threat analysis, real-time large data set processing, machine learning capabilities to detect the patterns and prevent these threats. And of course, with telework, all of our staff are working from home. We are moving towards an 85%, 15% mix of telework and on-premises work starting next year. To do that, we are downsizing our office. We are looking into a hoteling software. We actually selected a software which we are going to implement in the next 6 to 8 weeks. This software will allow our staff to select a cube that they would like to use for a given day when they are going to office. And that helps us to save a lot of money on real estate rental and management costs. And next, let's move on to conversational AI. I know artificial intelligence is a big thing. The state CIO is conducting AI pilot launch sessions. I'm a part of that. There is a lot of interest. There is a lot of movement in leveraging AI technologies. We also embraced these AI technologies a couple of years ago. I look at AI from multiple perspectives. The focus that we have is conversational AI for improving customer service. And for conversational AI, again, I look at 10 different capabilities that will lead to a mature conversational AI solution. At this point, we have 4 capabilities. We have natural language processing capability using IBM Watson technologies. We have sophisticated intent and entity recognition capabilities. And we also have basic fulfillment. A few transactions can actually be done through charts. We have implemented FizzBot, which is our PeopleSoft chatbot, through which users can get real-time help on various PeopleSoft modules. As you can see in that screen, we have FizzBot deployed for purchasing, AP, AR, grants management, customer contracts. This is actually a large chatbot that can deal with 300 plus intent entity combinations. It is only for internal users. It is not a public-facing chatbot. You may not hear much about it, but I can safely say this is a pretty large chatbot implementation that we have. And we recently, just last week, we released something called FizzChat on our ServiceNow customer service management product. This FizzChat allows users to create tickets through chat and get pointed help through what we call contained conversation with the chatbot. And this chatbot can also connect to a live agent who can respond to chat-based questions from our users. And we have a few more capabilities that we are working on. We would like to extend our artificial intelligence solution to multiple channels. We would like to optimize our text-to-speech and speech-to-text capabilities. We would like our chatbots to be aware of the context. Context meaning if a user is in the middle of a transaction and they are trying to contact or use chatbot, the chatbot should know where they are, what problem user ran into, so we can provide pointed answers quickly. And machine learning and advanced fulfillment is really through charts, through voice. We would like to enable users to transact within the fiscal system securely. And those are the initiatives we have. We are working on putting a chatbot, a public-facing chatbot on our Cali Procure vendor portal. We are trying to integrate bots with our contact center. We are trying to use machine learning to have our chatbots recognize the context in which users is asking these questions and integrate these chatbots with robotic process automation solutions for advanced fulfillment, from simple transactions such as password reset to complex transactions such as creating a purchase order within the PeopleSoft system. And robotic process automation, speaking of which, we have implemented robotic process automation a couple of years ago as a platform. Since then, we have implemented a few key business processes, such as adding a vendor or a supplier to our system. Well, if a State Department has to pay through PeopleSoft, through our fiscal system to someone, that someone need to be available in PeopleSoft as a supplier. So this is a key transaction. It is one of the high use transactions. Similarly, we have accounts receivable deposit entries that take user through multiple screens to enter. With an RPS solution, that whole data entry is automated, entering bills, entering purchase orders. And more recently, we developed a solution because of a request from one of the government entities that is dealing with COVID-19 related purchases. They want to find out which departments purchased PPE equipment, what are the purchase orders, what is the cost, what are the quantities of the equipment they purchased, and that can take days. By navigating through the screens of the system to pull all that data with an RPA solution, we are able to do that very quickly. And what's coming? Our strategic direction is to harvest our RPA solutions into processes that can be called by others. We do want to build a catalog and publish our RPA solutions so others, other users, other departments can call them for automating on their end. As I mentioned earlier, we do want to integrate these RPA solutions with our contact center and chatbots for advanced fulfillment of transactions, and then continue to expand these RPA processes. And next, performance and capacity management. As I mentioned earlier, we are dealing with 20 plus terabytes of data and 15,000 users. This is a large, highly used system. We have done a lot of work. I will call out Adi and Kanuri. They have been instrumental in making sure our system is performing, responding, all of our pages. These pages are packed. They're not lightweight web pages. Our PeopleSoft pages are packed with so much data. Most installations that I spoke to, other states and other large private sector organizations, do not even want to provide a service level for this type of system, but we are able to provide 2.5 seconds or less response time for 93% of the pages. Our system is up and running at least 99.5% of the time. Most recently, I checked it last weeks ago, we are at about 99.8%. And we have redundant infrastructure. If one server goes down, we do want to make sure there is no impact to the users. We have intelligent load balancing. Our batches are completing on time. And we have a lot more work to do. We do want to get to near real-time service level monitoring. We want to be efficient in detecting a performance problem. Instead of our developers digging and finding, oh, this SQL is taking more time, we would like our tools to automatically show where the bottleneck is. We would like to, this is my dream, auto scaling. If there is more load, we would like to spin off a couple of extra application servers automatically, and continuous optimization. And we also want to do our systems maintenance without taking the systems down. There are a couple of technical constraints today, but we are overcoming those. So in another year or so, we want to do planned maintenance without taking the whole system down. And technology upgrades, this is ongoing. Everyone deals with this. We recently implemented Cisco ACI Fabric. In another month or so, we are going to decommission our Cisco Nexus switches from our data centers. So we are fully utilizing ACI Fabric. We recently, just last month, upgraded our database engines to Oracle's Exadata X8M engineered system. Mr. Ellison says this is the fastest database machine. Well, I can say this is the fastest machine that Fiscal has deployed so far, and it's really helping us. The rest of our infrastructure utilizes Nutanix hyper-converged infrastructure, which is also easy to manage, high-performing infrastructure. We like it. We are using more and more of it. We have recently upgraded our Windows to 10 and 2016. Linux and database, Oracle databases to 19C. We upgraded Oracle BI and ODI software to 12C versions. We have more. We are in the process of planning upgrades of our private cloud appliances and Hyperion and PeopleSoft software and identity and access management software. And next is system optimization. So this falls into two categories. One is performance tuning to continue to provide desired response times for the users, and also to continue to look into innovative opportunities to make things easier for users. PeopleSoft Work Centers, for example, are a one-stop shop for users. They can go to a work center, they can get their reports, they can do their transactions, they can see their pending items all in one place. So we are deploying these work centers. We are deploying context-sensitive in-application help, so users can click on a link on a page and get help related to that page. And we are providing workflow improvements, operational insights, and so on. And more importantly, we have done a lot of work to implement key control functions for our state controller's office. And we have more. We are working on improving reconciliation, continuing to improve performance of the application. We are working on putting more capabilities, more self-service capabilities for vendors, so they can go to Cali Procure and they can potentially submit their invoices, which can be picked up through our newer technologies. We are looking at enhanced operational reporting. And cybersecurity, it's hard to talk about cybersecurity. I don't want to talk too many details, but at the same time, I want to give you just enough information. Recently, we have implemented a privileged account management solution, an advanced log management and SIEM solution. We also implemented an endpoint security platform. This is, of course, CrowdStrike. And we are working on a few more things. We are continuing to work on compliance improvements. We have many security compliance requirements. We are pretty close, but we continue to work on an ongoing basis to close our PIM items and make sure we are protected. Active threat analysis is another initiative, and identity cloud, which I already talked about when I briefed you on the cloud strategy. And next, analytics. This is this favorite area. We do have multiple types of analytics: descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. Descriptive analytics provide information for the users so they can actually see what information they have. These are things like looking at their budget and looking at their expenses and figuring out how much budget remains. And diagnostic analytics help users understand if they have a reconciliation problem, what transaction is causing that problem. They help them diagnose the problems and resolve those. And Open Fiscal is public-facing information that we provide to general public. Our analytics platform is based on two technologies, Microsoft Power BI and Oracle Business Intelligence. We are internally using Oracle Business Intelligence for control functions and analytics thereof, such as ledger analytics and things like that. Power BI, we are rolling it out to all the end users for expense analytics, budget analytics, and things like that. And Open Fiscal, if you have a moment, you can go to open.fiscal.ca.gov. You can see how state departments are spending their budgets. You will see transactional level detail on this Open Fiscal site. And analytics, we are working on more. Under diagnostic analytics, we are working on fund reconciliations, and we're also working on providing self-service capabilities to users so they can actually look at their transactions and figure out what's causing issues for them for reconciliation or closing their months and years. And predictive analytics is something where we want to go. Before things happen, we want to be able to gain information about, oh, you are going to run into late payments penalty because of this situation we are seeing, or you are going to struggle to close your books because of these transactions that we are seeing. That is where we want to go with predictive analytics. And the last one I have is Fiscal Learning Center. As I mentioned earlier, we are upgrading our learning management system. We are in the process of deploying Cornerstone. It's built, it's configured, it's a cloud-based solution. So next month we are trying to start rolling this out to users. And with that, one more piece that we need to do is really to upgrade our tools that we use to author training content and manage that content better. So enhanced content authoring and management tools are something that we are looking into. So this is my last slide. I think I was pretty close to 30 minutes, but it's 1:38. So let's go and open this up for questions.
Thank you. What I'll do is I've been watching some of the questions that have come in and picked out a few, and then certainly anyone on the phone, if you've got additional questions, feel free to type them in the chat, or you can drop them in the Q&A. Someone in the Q&A asked, and I think this is along the lines of auto scaling for your cloud infrastructure as a service. For performance and capacity planning, are you currently using a cloud infrastructure as a service product that doesn't allow for auto scaling today? I know you talked about it being in your future.
Well, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, our PeopleSoft, the primary system, and Hyperion, our budgeting solution, they are still running from on-premises, right? We do have web servers, application servers, and database servers that support these two solutions. And we don't have auto-scaling technology for the on-premises production workload management. So what we do is we monitor and we find out that, oh yeah, we have 6 servers, that is not enough, let's add one more. So Kanuri's team is actually building and rolling that server, adding it into the load balanced application server pool. That is what we want to improve. We want to automatically scale. I do remember using a technology, on-premises technology a while back. In that technology, we could say, oh, I want a minimum of 4 application servers, but I want to be able to take it up to 10 application servers if the workload demands to do so, right? So in which case, if the workload grows, that technology automatically starts another server. That's really what I mean by auto scaling. It's not just starting an infrastructure server. It is a fully packaged application server, fully configured application server that can start taking on more workload in minutes, right? And Kanuri is the primary person who built our AWS mini data center. Kanuri, do you want to add anything to that?
Sure. In AWS, with respect to auto scaling, so I think we are adopting cloud in what I call cloud smart way, in the sense that we are adopting cloud for small use cases first, and then expanding into them. So for now, what we have built in Amazon, they do not require this kind of scaling that Subbarao is talking about. And if we do build environments in cloud in future, we definitely consider this feature, auto scaling. It is available in all three clouds that I'm aware of. When we deployed, for example, fiscal.ca.gov site in Azure, we did use auto scaling there for app services. And so it is based on the context. If we do need auto scaling for the use case that we are building in the cloud, we will definitely look at that and then um, implement that solution.
So I want to pivot to some IT security questions and take advantage of the fact that we have Gerard on the phone with us today. Um, what are your biggest sort of IT security and privacy challenges that might keep you up at night?
Subbarao, this is Subbarao. I'll start and I will let Gerard talk
Okay.
about it. Well, the biggest challenges are, of course, we are dealing with a financial system that is dealing with billions of dollars that are flowing through this system, right? So beyond IT security, fraud, detecting fraud and preventing fraud are our priorities. So we need insights into the transactions that are running through the system, right? So that is one area which we have developed 14 use cases. We're in the process of automating them for this fraud detection. And the second part, security at a very basic level comes down to making sure we only open the right ports and protocols for our communications. We patch our systems, we stay on supported systems. When a vulnerability comes out, we patch our systems very quickly. And that is an area where we keep an eye on what's coming out and what are the hot vulnerabilities that are coming out. So we need to quickly patch. I'm glad Gerard and Kanuri collaborate very well. They take care of things very quickly. If not, they both have my phone number and they call me. So Gerard, do you want to add anything to that?
No, well spoken. Like Kanuri and I have a really good relationship. Several times I've come up to him and say, "Hey, man, this has to get patched right away." And he's always, he knows that I don't come to him all the time for this. I don't cry wolf all the time. So he's been very good to me, and we've deployed these patches as quickly as possible.
So along the same security lines, you mentioned you had 15,000 users, total number of endpoints. How many would you estimate that you have on your network? And do you have an endpoint management solution that you guys use today?
That's an interesting question. Maybe let me see if we understand that correctly. The 15,000 users that we are referring to are from the 152 state departments, right? The endpoints of those users are managed by the respective departments. We don't manage them. We do give them a guide saying these are the requirements for configuring your endpoints to be able to use the fiscal system. We really depend on the browser. We just say these are the browser versions that you need to use to use the fiscal system. That's about it, right? We don't manage their endpoints. On our side, on the fiscal side, we do have endpoints. We have about 800, nearly 800 endpoints. We manage those endpoints, and management too can be confusing. Which management aspect are we talking about? One aspect is managing these endpoints, the images, the deployment of patches and all those things, which we manage using Microsoft SCCM. We recently introduced a new solution here whereby we are able to patch and manage our endpoints even if they are not connected to our network. That is something Kanuri is very proud of, because nowadays with people working from home, they don't connect to VPN. They can do quite a bit of work without connecting to VPN, but we still want to make sure they are patched and they are secured. We are able to do that, right? We're able to do that using some SCCM equivalent service from Microsoft Azure. And second thing is the endpoints have CrowdStrike, and we use CrowdStrike and Falcon to secure those endpoints. And anything else, Gerard, Kanuri, you want
Yeah.
to add to that?
So the CrowdStrike, as you know, is cloud-based, so you don't have to be VPN for it to work. That's one of the good things about it also.
Exactly.
So another quick question here is, do you already have a solution in place for chatbots, or are you looking to expand business logic or employ something new?
Oh, that's a very good question. Yes, we do have a chatbot. We do have a strategy. We have some work that we need to do to realize our strategy. The chatbot that we have is really a small window on our PeopleSoft application. Any logged in user, uh, any of these 15,000 users that log into PeopleSoft can click on that chatbot icon and start a conversation with our chatbot, right? And behind the scenes, we use MeanStack and we use IBM Watson to provide the responses, to process the natural language typed in by the users, to recognize the intents and entities. And for that, we use IBM Watson API calls, and we respond to the user. So we have that working. We have that working connected to PeopleSoft. Um, what we want to do, though, this is a big, maybe a grand vision. So we still need to think through and figure out how to do this, right? So let me expand on this. As I mentioned earlier, all of our users may reach us through multiple channels. They may start chatting with the chatbot in PeopleSoft. They may go to ServiceNow and they may start creating a ticket, and they can use a chatbot there, or they may pick up the phone and call our toll-free number and start talking to an agent, right? So in all these channels, this is what I call omni-channel. How do you introduce a bot that is based on AI and ML, right? So when a user calls, we would like to introduce a voice-based bot in there that will use the same knowledge base that we have to respond to the user. And then if the chatbot cannot respond, the voice bot cannot respond, they connect to the live agent, right? And how do we use it if someone contacts through ServiceNow, someone contacts us through PeopleSoft, someone contacts us through CaliProcure. So our grand vision is to have one knowledge base, one repository of knowledge, and one solution that can serve customers through voice or text-based bots through multiple channels. That's where we want to get to.
So I've got a question here, and this may fall to the controller's office, but are you guys looking at ACH payments to vendors instead of checks?
That could be controller's question, and that is controller's question.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, the payments are processed through the fiscal system, but at the end of processing, we actually send information to controller systems, and controller pays actual payments through their systems. They are working on several improvements, but I don't want to speak for them. There are quite a few things that are going on, direct deposits and automated payments, and but that's more of a question for controllers.
So another security one in here. If you had to solve 2 security challenges, what would those be, and how do you envision doing that?
Yeah, so let me start again and go to Gerard. The primary security challenge that we want to solve is to make sure every one of the devices that we have, whether they are endpoints or servers or anything that we have within our infrastructure, we have well-defined communication patterns, right? What are the ports and protocols on which they receive communication? What are the ports and protocols they send communication on, and why, right? So that is what I try to call a zero trust security model, whereby nothing communicates to the other by default when you start them, and you only open up the communications that are really, really needed. So that is the most important thing. I think everything at the end of the day comes down to that, right? And the second aspect of this, expanding on the zero trust, is the zero trust security model for people, right? We do have privileged users like DBAs, admins, they have extra privileges. We trust them, but we also have to implement a zero trust security model, which is the reason why we implemented privileged account management solution. We don't want them to set up weak passwords. We don't want them to, log into their computers and leave their screens and go away. Things like that. So those are the two aspects, right? Protect your accounts and protect your assets, so all their communications are designed and intended communications. So if something gets into our system, we want to make sure whatever gets in does not really spread with this protection mechanism. So I know Gerard will have a lot more thoughts on this. You want to speak to that? You're on mute still.
Yeah, I know. I just saw that. Thank you. Yeah, I'd have to echo that. Like, the whole thing about zero trust is least privilege, right? So we're trying to make sure that everything is least privilege, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure when we talk, like just today, we were looking around at re-examining certain rules or things. So it's always good to do these things, to always look and re-audit and make sure that is that really least privilege, can we make it even lower? And those are some of the things that we do.
All right, maybe I'll ask, maybe each of you should answer this question. I think it'd be good to get sort of everyone's. If you had one thing that is keeping you up at night, what would it be, and how can we as industry help you get some good rest?
Let's start with Adi.
Oh boy. Good afternoon, everyone. One thing I can say is it's never a dull moment at Fiscal, so it's always interesting. It keeps us, we're always on our toes to support 150 departments and 15,000 plus users. That's one thing, but it's really interesting work. Please come join Fiscal team. We can do a lot, as you heard Subbarao say. We do a lot of cool things here, not just only PeopleSoft and Hyperion. We do have a lot of newer technologies, AI, RPA, all that stuff with the Power BI and stuff. So please do join our Fiscal team. As far as what keeps us at night, I say we have good supportive team. I think that's a huge thing from internally, from our leadership, from our business partners, with our vendors. Like when we have some issues, we call the vendors as needed and we get the good support. I think that makes a huge difference.
Maybe I can add to what Adi said. I joke with my management team a lot, and I think what keeps Adi awake at night, it's definitely not me, but she is worried about some DBA running gather stats on all the database and some key component taking a bad access path and system performance coming to a standstill. So that's what keeps her awake. So we control those things. We collaborate very well on those. And I think Jennifer wanted everyone to take on that question, right? So Kanuri, do you want to?
Oh, you want me to take that? I'm a sound sleeper. Nothing keeps me up at night. No, I think off late, this talk about ransomware, that is everywhere, right? So I think security, no matter how secure, how you feel confident about your infrastructure and the security measures that you have taken, it's always at the back of your mind, you always have this doubt, are we secure enough, right? So I think from my perspective, we are actually improving it dramatically, and we are also doing both internal and external assessments to help us assure ourselves that what we have is adequate and good. But still, that's what keeps me up at night. Am I secure enough?
I'd have to echo that too, Kanuri. Like it's the threat landscape is ever evolving, and because of that, that it always moves. That are we secure enough, right? It's always like, you can't plan for everything until because you haven't seen everything, and that's what you can only prepare for what that's coming, and that's what keeps me up is the stuff that's the unknown.
So before we hear from Subbarao, I just want to, Adi mentioned what a great team you guys have over there. We have some state employees on our webinar today. Are you guys recruiting staff, or are there any, open positions that you want to mention?
Yes, we are always recruiting. We have a few IT specialist one positions that we're interviewing right now, but we are constantly, Fiscal has been posting job positions always. I know ITD, I'm sure there are some open positions right now.
Got it.
That is true. So that's probably why Adi is trying to recruit people here. So we do have openings in pretty much every area, 1 or 2 openings here and there. We have openings on our security team. We have openings on our development team. We do have openings on our infrastructure team. We have DBA openings, Linux administrator openings. We also have 4 IT manager 1 openings, 1 on security, 1 on infrastructure, 2 on our project management office. I did not bring our PMO to this meeting. So we do have that. I say, my recruitment pitch to attract people is, as Adi was saying, we have a good environment. Our management team is slightly different. They are not looking for their individual success. They are looking for collective success. So our motto is that we need to succeed together. We need to help one another. So it does not matter whether it is little issue or a big issue. There is no finger pointing. There is no blaming. In fact, I started this culture of blameless postmortems. When there is an issue, we don't care who caused that issue. We care about what is the problem and how do we prevent that going forward. And we work together to use our collective intelligence to figure out strategies up front. And we make sure our team is aware and they know how to go ahead and get their job done. And I'm a proponent of psychological safety for all of our employees. If anyone comes and says, hey, I don't know how to do this, you made this assignment, we don't yell at them or anything like that. We help them. And we have that help coming all the way from the first line managers up to me and even my superiors, right? So we put our employees in a position where they succeed, where they enjoy what they do. We don't have unnecessary politics. So all this leads to, hey, we work hard at Fiscal, but we guarantee you will have the job satisfaction.
Well, and something that I've noticed in working with and around your team is that sort of no blame and work together to find a solution extends out really, honestly, into the vendor community too. So I think it's something that we're all appreciative of and value when it comes to partnering to work together with the Fiscal team. Okay, well, with that, excellent discussion. Thank you so much. We will post video of this webinar on our website at techca.org. Thank you so much. Please make sure to everyone to tune in to our next next CIO check-in. We're hoping to tee it up for sometime in November. Thanks again so much, Subbarao, Kanuri, Adi, and Gerard. It was great to talk to you all today. And we look forward to hearing more in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Have a great day.
Thank you all for joining this call.